Hello. I'm live. I'm Marianne Petrie of Slam the Gavel podcast, and I wanted to go over three things with everybody. Okay, so I saw this article that was written by Julie Haskell. She's a legal abuse advocate and cameras in courts. And she wrote about Santa Clara County in San Jose, California, who received 21,210,000,000. Wait a minute. Do I have that right? 21,210,000,000. No. No. What the hell is that? Look at that figure. Oops, can you see that? Is that 210? Funding? Oh, I don't know. Let me double check. I'm not sure. Okay, so we're going to talk about federal funding. I'm under the impression that it's like 21 billion, 210 million, and $319. I think I'm right. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is in Title 4D federal funding for the fiscal year of 2024 to 2025. And she and I would like to know where all this money is going. Now, this is also, hi everybody. This is also a very, very huge incentive to take away kids from their parents, right? How many of us out there are paying child support at one time, or maybe you're done or not? Okay, so, all right. Now it says down here she's got child support, and then there's a column that says 200. Then there's another column that says Department of Child Support Services. Then it says Federal Title 4D Child Support, 21,195,319. Hope I'm right on that. Do you think I'm right? I mean, because that figure's so crazy. Am I saying it right? Please, someone let me know if I'm messing this up. Okay, so then you've got child support, Department of Child Support Services, federal Title 4D interest offset is 15,000. I don't know why that is. Let me see, I'm just trying to see who's joining. Okay, so if I'm screwing up these figures, someone let me know. Because this is it's so bizarre. Then it says child support total for the government is $21,210,319. Look at, am I wrong? Can you see? Can you all see that yellow number? Here, if I put my thumb over it. Okay, and that's what the article says as well. Can you see it? Oh God, Marianne. I tell you what, it's been that kind of a weekend, that type of thing. 21, you see it, 210. So thanks for the hearts, because I don't know if I'm doing so hot. It's been a rough weekend, okay? And this is not a laughing matter, okay? Because parents and kids are suffering over this. This is a death trap. And it just kills me, because we're just going to talk about Title 4D today. We're not going to get into B or E, okay? We're just going to stick to Title 4D. Title 4D now of the Social Security Act, it is the financial backbone of the family court system. Okay, so Title 4D is child support enforcement, okay? This is particularly scary for all of us, all parents, moms and dads, okay? Because what these judges do is they will come up with a figure in their head. For instance, we'll take my case. I was a nurse, and I had the silver bullet false accusations of emotional child abuse, okay, which I was cleared from. But in the meantime, 4 days later, I had another indication of emotional child abuse, which cost me my job as a registered nurse, and I was terminated involuntarily at the hospital. But the opposing attorney kept saying to the judge that I just up and quit. Now, I would like to ask everyone, would anyone in their right mind back in 2016 quit a nursing job where you were making $29 an hour? I wouldn't, because I really enjoyed my job working in the ER. Anyway, so when he stole custody of my boys, the following day he scampers down to the domestic relations unit and files child support on me. And there's no money coming in, right? So we all know that, hi Warrior Mom, hell no, I know. Okay, so there's no money coming in and arrears start building up. Does everyone know this drill? I don't know. If someone doesn't know the drill, you can ask me a question. Ask Marianne about family court, okay? We'll just go with ask Marianne about family court. So, yep, Warrior Mom, yep. So the arrears build up and you're going, I don't know, I've got $25 I can pay you in the domestic relations unit, which are very sketchy, I may add. The the conference officer handling my case sat down. He whispered to me, he says, I'm telling you right now, this is a bunch of bullshit. It's like, what does he know that I don't know? Because, I was naive at that time. And so, okay, so you can't pay and then you can't pay. Arrears built up. I got up to $11,000 in arrears. And under Title 4D, these state courts are reimbursed by the federal government for every dollar they collect, and they enforce in child support. So the courts make money from creating, enforcing child support orders, okay? And now, you're probably wondering, well, where does all this money go? So I did look it up for the state of Pennsylvania. So, for the state of Pennsylvania, it can go into the roads. It can go into grants, like the Pell Grant, things like that, to help kids get through college. Little did I know. And it goes back into the judges' pensions. Okay, so the court does get paid when it separates a parent from their child. And this imposes the child support obligation, okay? So they're enjoying themselves when they take kids away from good fit parents. Then they start collecting. So what my judge did, and I don't want to bore everybody if you've been on these before, but she drummed up a figure in her mind that I was still a working nurse, even though I couldn't work at all. Because once I was terminated from the hospital, my CPS hearing wasn't until December 4th. So November I was fired, and then December 4th I had my CPS hearing, and then January 6th I get a letter from my lawyer saying you've been cleared and you were a target of OCY. I have that letter. That's what she wrote. God bless her. And so people need to know about this Title 4D. And I have the U.S. Code. I want to say in Pennsylvania, and I don't know if this is everywhere in the States, 42 U.S. Code, now it's Halloween coming up, right? U.S. Code 666. I know, it's creepy. It's creepy because, these little, counties are making billions. So this is like a $1 trillion a year business off of the backs of our children and our parents. Okay, Warrior Mom says, they calculate from your last job, which doesn't make sense because if you don't have that money coming in. That's right, because that's what that idiot was doing to me. And I couldn't get it through her head that I have been terminated from my job, okay? So there's no money coming in and I can't work while under an indication from CPS, because you're not allowed to work around kids, right? Because, you're so dangerous, and you're lumped in with other individuals, if you know what I mean. And so the judge won't let you go backwards in time to explain what happened, what led up to where you are today. Why can't you pay the child support? Okay, so I would try to explain this and she would say, stop. And she was a chirper, stop. And then she'd say, we are just going back from the last 2 weeks on. It's like, well, from the last 2 weeks on, I'm still unable to work. I don't know what you're not getting. I mean, how do you work as a judge if you don't know the history of the case? Okay? They don't know the history of the case and they don't care because they want to collect the Title 4D funding, okay? That is what they want. You're right, they all do that and they don't care. And what else my judge did was she raised the arrearages by $3,000. She dreamed up in her weird hairdo that day that she's going to add $3,000 onto my arrears, putting me up to, I think that put me up to $15,000 in arrears. A little backstory on this judge. Sometimes she wore her hair like really short and curly, or the one time I saw her, and I swear to God, as if you were watching The Great Gatsby. Remember those? They were like waves like this, and her hair was short like a bob. It was really the weirdest hairdo. I mean, not weird for The Great Gatsby, but in a courtroom, we're not in The Great Gatsby, okay? And the other nurses warned me. They said, if she's wearing peach lipstick, you're not going to do well that day. So believe me, a lot of parents suffered in that courtroom. And I don't know how I made it through other than having a heart attack, which I believe was sent by God in order to help stop this mess of hers. And these judges have a lot to answer for. Okay, so which leads me to, here in Pennsylvania, we're going to be voting soon. Okay, so I did look up the Allegheny, Pennsylvania judges, because I'm in the Pittsburgh area. Now, we've got Ed Borkowski, Alan Hertzberg. Could you marry someone with the last name of Hertzberg? I don't know if I could do that. Okay, Beth Lazara, Jen McCready, Hugh McGough, Dan Reagan, Dwayne Woodruff. Now, could you marry a guy named Dwayne? I don't know if I could. I'll have to think that over and let you know. Anyway, so if these people are retained in 2025, are y'all sitting down? They will serve an additional 10-year terms. Okay, so think about it. So they've been retained for another 10 years if you do vote for some of these people. They're going to form very close relationships with other attorneys, guardian ad litems, custodial evaluators, the third-party parasites, including the psychologists. And I did say guardian ad litems. So they're going to make relationships. So parents and litigants are going to suffer for the 10 next years to come. Okay, so now I don't have a calendar in front of me. I don't know if it's November 5th or 6th we're voting. But this is why we have to vote. The question is, do you want these judges retained? My answer And how I'm going to vote is no, I don't want them retained, because we need new blood in there. We've got to rotate them, move them around, and or get new judges in there. I just was just beside myself. It's like they served 10-year terms. Yeah, 10-year terms of hell. Okay, it's all hell. Is she a judge or a commissioner? Which one? Okay, because these are the Pennsylvania judges, okay? Just so everybody knows. Now for the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, it's Chris Donahue, Karen Doherty, and Dave Wecht. One of my friends says, oh, he's a Wecht. And I'm like, well, whatever that is. Okay. So then for Superior Court of Pennsylvania, now I don't know what district, because we got different districts. We've got Judge Brandon Newman, Maria Batista, Dan Wessmer, Wessmer. And Maria Batista is going in as a Republican. Okay, so now there was an article that I gave to my friend, which I would look on my phone, but I can't because I have you all on here and I'm on here. But what they're doing is they are taking these Democratic judges and they're putting them as Republicans, okay? So you don't know what you're voting in. You may think, I'm going to go in there and vote straight Democrat. Or I may go in there and vote straight Republican. And you don't know what you're voting for now, do you? So I'm telling everyone, and this is how, like I said, I'm going to vote in Pennsylvania. No, I'm not going to retain these people. Okay, so one of my friends says, go research them. Find out. You can call their campaign headquarters and say, how do you vote? Are you for 50-50 shared parenting, or are you for the best interest of the child? Okay. Warrior Mom, that's why it's important to reach them, yes. If you could call their campaign office and find out how they sit on the bench, what are they ruling on, especially things like that with family court. Everybody knows I want all these judges to have psych evals every 16 months, lie detector tests once a year, and drug screens, random drug screens, yep. Because there's way too much involved. If doctors, nurses, dentists have to have these tests done, so do these attorneys and judges. Because if they're going to be handling our kids, they better be in their right mind. Because what was going on in my case, I personally would like to know the drugs my judge was on when he was handling my case before he died. And I didn't know what to think of that, and I just think it's very important that we know, and to make phone calls and call whatever state you're in, call up these campaign offices and find out how these judges rule. You can ask them, you can even ask them, how does this judge feel about Title 4D funding? And they may not know whoever's answering the phone. It could be, some college student. I don't know. And do you consider interviewing anyone? I always consider. You can reach me at dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. All you have to do is Google my name, you'll find me. So if we know how these judges are ruling, do they support Title 4D? Do they lean towards the best interest of the child, or 50-50 no matter what? But again, this leads us down another path, which is, are the judges looking at evidence? And that would be a good question to ask a campaign manager. Does this judge look at evidence? Because sometimes they roll and there's favors going on. We all know this. I'm not telling you anything new. If I am telling you something new, again, ask Marianne about family court. I am so appalled at this figure here in Santa Clara County going back to San Jose, California. Okay. I just can't believe I'm looking at that. So we all have to be aware and make ourselves knowledgeable on who we're voting for. What do they believe in? Do we really want them on the bench? And talk to people. Just continuously talk to people. Hey, what do you think of these judges? Do you want them retained or not? Because if they're a problem on the bench, and if they've been a problem to other parents or litigants, criminal and or otherwise, everybody's got to talk and find out, do we want to retain them? I'm not retaining anybody. Anybody here in Pennsylvania, especially if they're going to hide their party that they're in, because they're always having parties, right? Oh my gosh. Stories of parties. Well, we won't go there yet. But that's what I would like to get my point across, is this Title 4D funding, the child support enforcement, and that also was encouraged by the American Safe Families Act in 1997, thanks to Bill and Hillary. Thanks, Bill. You're a big help. That was for child support enforcement. That also involved foster care, but that's another podcast. You can find my podcast, Slam the Gavel. I'm everywhere on Spotify, Apple, iTunes, YouTube. Please like and subscribe. I just want to inform everybody about this Title 4D. And I've got another quick story to tell you, because I had a workman over, and I asked him, I said, hey, are you paying child support? And he said, oh, yeah. And I said, can I ask how much you're paying a month? He said he's paying $2,200 a month. I would die. I'd be like, ah. So then I said, do you know about Title 4D? And he did. He said he knew all about it. Let me see. I'm not. So they're communicate with the OPS. I'm not crazy for thinking this. I don't think anything's crazy at this point when it comes to family court. So be reassured. But this fellow was telling me that he was trying to explain to his wife why she wasn't getting the $2,200 a month, because of the Title 4D funding, because they match, their the Social Security monies with the child support you're paying. It's not that complicated to explain. I just need my notes in front of me because I've had a rough day. Anyway, this is what the problem is. So he said that when he explained the Title 4D funding to her, she said, well, since I'm not getting that full $2,200, I think I'm just going to go back and apply for more child support. And I thought, this is going to kill this guy. Come on. I mean, my ex was thinking he was going to get $890 out of me a month with no work, because if there's no money coming in and you make someone lose their job, and I have proof of this, because I'm trying not to jump around, but in the second OCY hearing, the caseworker stated to the OCY judge that the ex-husband calls her office 3 to 4 times a week with updates between the mother and the son and the custody hearings. So believe me, I bought that transcript. Even after my heart attack, they wanted $575 for that transcript. It was about this thick. And I said, hey, I've had a heart attack. would you be willing to take $250 for that? And they got kind of snotty. Well, I guess we can do that. So that's what they accepted. So if a transcript is expensive, doesn't hurt to ask, would you be willing to take this for it? Because, all they can do is say no, right? Okay, plus if a parent is receiving food stamps, they deduct it from the child support. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with this Title 4D funding. That's why I want everyone to look into it and see how much your state makes a year in the child support. Now, this is really scary that this Santa Clara County in San Jose, California received that amount of money. Okay, so if that's the case, besides all, where I said it could be going, where else could it be going? Is the questions that I have. And she writes here, it's a huge incentive to remove children from their parents. And the parents are pawns and the kids are pawns. And even if your child speaks up and say there has been ABUZE and you have evidence and the judge won't look at it, and even if the child talks to the judge and tells them what they want, but we'll say the child is 15, right? Because that's how old my middle one was, 15, 16. The judge didn't listen to him. If people say, oh, they'll talk to the judge and the judge will listen to the kid and everything will be fine. No, not with Judge Robert Sambrook. My lawyer came out running out of that room where these kids were sequestered with the attorney and the judge and the lady that types stuff in. And she said, they're twisting your son's words. And it's like, I'm constantly getting screwed over in the Erie County Courthouse. Yeah. And Natasha, yep, I'm still fighting. Innocence and completion of my case plan. I get it. Makes no sense. I'm so confused. I hope I'm not confusing you. It's the way this is working is, this federal funding fiscal year, how the Department of Child Support Services and the federal title IV-D, so people know it's IV-D, and the child support it brings in to the federal government. Okay? So I just think it's really sad that they think so little of children and parents that are good fit parents that are being screwed over in the family courts. And okay, I'm going through this. I'm sorry you're going through this. Oh, and you live in Canada. I've done 2 podcasts last week with people in Canada that their cases are bad. It's bad. Geez, it's bad everywhere. But I will point out over here in the States, you can visit this site called Vote, VOTE, 411.org, O-R-G. That's vote411.org. And you just put in your address and see what comes up and who is going to be on the ballots for the judges. That way you can dig deeper and look these judges up. You can find them on LinkedIn. You can find them on Google. And even if you Google them, they could have a 4.5 star rating, but do they really have a 4.5 star rating? No. Of course, my child support judge, Elizabeth Kelly, she had a 1.4 star rating. You better believe it. You should have seen the comments on there. It's very scary. So, if your state is saying, do you want to vote to retain these judges? Vote no. I'm just, it's my advice. That's what I'm doing. I'm voting no. And Natasha says, I'm one of them getting screwed. So many people are inhumane. Yes, people are inhumane. And that's why judges and some of these attorneys, at least my opposing one, need psych evals. They need psych evals, they need random drug screens, and they need lie detector tests. You're probably asking, why the lie detector tests? Well, because that will also determine how much money they're contributing to judge campaigns. Okay, so you can also look up transusa.org. And some states are in there and some states aren't, right? Okay, so Pennsylvania's in there, some aren't. Some in the Midwest aren't on that map for transusa.org. And you type in your attorney's name and it will pop up all these figures of, how much money they donated to a judge's campaign. So I'm trying to give you some tools of, who do you vote for when you get in there? Now, okay, I Googled how much money child support brings in a year, and it states no figures shown. Oh, but it can. It can. It's got to somewhere. I know it's got to somewhere. She pulled this up for California. There, start Googling, start searching. I think even if you, start talking to a lot, just start dialogue with people. How do you find out how much Title 4D funding your state is bringing in? And let me see, is this available in Canada? No, I don't think the transusa.org is available in Canada, because it only shows the United States and the little states that it does cover. And let me see here. Let me see here. I was trying to find some info on that, but it's out there, and so I don't know what to tell you when you're in Canada, because it's bad. It's just bad over there. But another point to make is this is a global issue. This is a human rights violations issue. This is just the ultimate in suffering for any parent having to pay child support and having a very vindictive ex wanting to raise it every 3 to 4 months. And it just is horrible. And if anyone has any questions for me, you can find me on dismantlingfamilycourtcorruption.com. Yeah, it's a court order and they allow it. They allow everything. They don't even look at evidence. My judge never looked at evidence. They don't want to see it because they want to keep, this is it, these family courts want to keep the false narrative running at all times. So the case is rigged. They want to keep it that way, and they want to keep it going that way. In fact, one quick story, I did have a good judge rule in my favor, and he was fabulous because there was a lot of custodial interference going on. And I thought, oh no, but my attorney called an emergency petition. And so thank you for watching my podcast. We went before this judge, and it wasn't like a courtroom. It was just like a room like this, but with a podium. Really weird. But we went in there, and he was standing there in his judge robe, and I took one look at him, and I put my head down because he was so good looking. Anyway, he proceeded to scream at my ex for withholding the kids. Okay, so there are good judges out there. There are good attorneys out there. I know several good attorneys. The one I had last, she saved my life. Okay, but I never heard a man raise his voice that loud. I don't know, my dad never did. I never heard it, but it was awesome. It was like, but again, the ex ignored it. Okay, so I don't know why we're not finding these parents for withholding these kids. Why don't we find them immediately, if not sooner? Because the kids are suffering. The kids need to see their parents, especially when there's no A, B, U, Z, E involved. It's like just let the kids see the parent. There's no reason why to withhold, right? So we got out of there. When we left the courthouse, the lawyer's office was like a block and a half away, and so I was all happy. I was on cloud nine. Here I had this hot judge rule in my favor. Okay, it's like super cute. And so then we get into the office, and my attorney just wasn't happy. She had this glum, foreboding, sad, disappointed look on her face. And I said, so when do I get to see these kids? And so she wrote down the hours of when I would be seeing these kids according to what the judge ruled immediately that when we were in there. And another attorney comes out of her office and she goes, who's happy? Because she saw that I was smiling and happy. She says, really, nobody's ever happy in here. Yeah. Who's ever happy in an attorney's office? Well, I was that day, but little did I know. No, he was going to ignore that. And we went back into family court about a month later, and they were looking for this judge's order. And I treasured that order so much, I carried it in my purse with me. That's sad. So I carried it, and Judge Robert Sambrook was saying, I want to see his order. Who has his order? The attorneys are flipping through all their paperwork trying to find this order. And I said, oh, Your Honor, I have it in my purse. And so the bailiff went and got my purse, and I dug it out and I showed it to him, and he looked at it, and then he handed it back to the bailiff to give back to me. He ignored it. He ignored a more seasoned judge's order. I have no words that you could do that to a child. When that judge, who was so good looking, knew what was going on, he knew what was going on in the game that it was. It was simple to see. But anyway, how all that turned out is the ex just got a slap on the wrist, even when ordered to do a psych eval, which he never did. He would get screamed at by the judge, but he was never held in contempt. Like, I hate to say this. I am not a fan of putting a parent in jail. I've said that on my podcast. Don't put a parent in jail because it will affect the adverse childhood experience score. Is everyone with me on this, thinking this way? But man, when you get these parents that don't follow judges' orders over and over again and over, to the point where it's causing the child anxiety, to the point where that parent, not me, but that parent puts that kid on a psychotropic. Okay, enough already with the family court, enough. So he eventually did get a psychological evaluation, but that was done by an OCY counselor. So that's cheating. So when a judge says, you got to go get a psych eval, I went through my insurance company. I said, who can I go to? They sent me 500 names in the city of Erie. And I picked one, and I had a really good guy, and he did a great job. Still they get the upper hand somehow. Yep. Have to leave it all up to God, because everything and everyone that exalts themselves over God, he will bring them low. Yes, the mighty shall fall. And again, like I have said on my podcast, that I said, God, you deal with Judge Robert Sambrook, because I don't know what to do with him. He won't recuse himself. He will not do the right thing. He won't change the venue or recuse himself, screaming at me. I'm not going to recuse myself. I know this case better than anybody else. It's like, really? Because this is day one of the case. How much do you know, buddy? So, God did deal with him. So I'm here to bring everybody hope that yes, God will deal with people. And on March 2nd of 2015, when he took my boys away, I prayed, and on March 2nd of 2017, he died of pancreatitis. That's what God does. We have to look at the miracles. There are miracles, and they still happen today. Let me see. In the meantime, the kids are being traumatized. Yes, I know. Yeah, they're being traumatized, and these judges don't care, except for that very good-looking one I had. Okay, so for your entertainment, if you are interested, I did write the book, Dismantling Family Court Corruption, Why Taking the Kids Was Not Enough. I don't know if you can see that. Is it over here? That's the painting that I did for the cover of that book. And you can find that on Amazon. It's also on audio. My books are also on audio. Let me see. Okay, so then after that I wrote Cry Out for Justice, Poems of Truth. Oh, maybe I'll read you a poem. Do you want me to read a poem or not? It's up to you guys. Oh, okay, I could probably read you this one. Okay, how long is it though? Let me look. Oh, it's not that long. Oh, how about this one? The Lies Breaking Family Ties. Okay, well, maybe I'll read you these two. Okay, so here we go. Go ahead. I love how someone says go ahead. Okay, non-custodial parent. It's been a while. Okay, I cannot admonish nor correct you due to my fear that I won't get to see you again or hold you near. You're being told one thing and lies by others to ruin our relationship along with your brothers. Now slowly I walk on eggshells forever and a day, around you no matter how you treat me or what you say, so I let things go and let you walk all over me, knowing it's you or your brother I might not get to see. If I were to tell you how I feel and to make you stop, verbally abusing your own mother is way over the top. If you only understood that they enjoy using you like a pawn, relishing in the pleasure of you hurting your own mom. I'm going to read those two lines one more time. If you only understood they enjoy using you like a pawn, relishing in the pleasure of you hurting your own mom or dad. But I was writing this for me because, I was their mom. So, but this happens to dads too, okay? So the next poem is The Lies Breaking Family Ties. So that first one I wrote was Emotional Blackmail of the Non-Custodial Parent. Oops, wait a minute. Okay, so here we go. This was written May 7th, 2019. What's the question? Oh, and you have books. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, thank you. Oh, and leave me reviews too. If you like the book or if you have any questions, you can contact me and ask me anything. Okay, here we go. My kids sit back and listen to lies getting in their system. They hear it and they see it, then they gradually believe it. Every false allegation is all about me. Accusations too numerous to count, you see. Continuous lies and deceit withstood. If I could change them back, I would. Time has lapsed. Another year goes by. Memories have changed, and so have I. In their minds, I do not exist. Countless lies, though, still persist. Lies cannot stop. I'm falling into a pit. Those filthy liars are a piece of shit. Desperately trying to talk sense into them, but everyone knows where those lies stem. Conflicted yet loyal to their alienator, treating my children like a capital expenditure. Now I sit back and listen to more of the lies, swiftly cutting what was left of my family ties. I've got one called The Trollers. Here, let me see. How long is that one? Because I don't want to bore you guys. Okay. It's not that. I think I can do it. So this is March 11th, 2019. The Trollers. They set out to make your life miserable. And that is what they intend to do. Not just ruining your life, peace, and happiness, but they begin to brainwash your kids too. Encouraging the lies, misconceptions, and doubt, get your kids' heads spinning and confused. They enjoy prancing them through family court, then taking them away saying they've been abused. There you are in a quandary, sitting in sad misery. Quietly they pull out multiple pictures found online as the judge sits back naturally entwined, with intent on planning to destroy your bloodline. You are being watched in every aspect cyber, analyzed for future hearings as events become intense. There is nothing you can do but to wish and dream of the life you wanted with a white picket fence. The dream of a happy life or happy family with a happy life, no drama, but not knowing what to cook next. So now you're under a microscope 24/7 while your life is taken completely out of context. So I won't read you anymore, I promise. Maybe next time. But I also wrote, raised by these wolves. See the wolves? They don't look very happy. These are not like the Twilight wolves. These are nasty, mean wolves. How family and federal courts are failing our children. Yep. Then I wrote volume 2, raised by these wolves. These wolves are even more nastier. Child trafficking within the foster care and court systems. Yeah, that's where the money is coming from. Okay, so then I've got Raised by These Wolves Volume 3 coming out. I really hope by early to mid-November. It would be great. Thank you for listening to me. I thank you all for listening to me. I hope I made sense. I was trying to figure out that figure, and was it really in the billions? Is that what I'm really seeing? So bear with me. It's just been a crazy weekend and a crazy day, but we'll do this again soon. And I hope you all have a good evening. Okay, thank you. See how I stop this now.